Welcome to the video. I am sitting at a customer right now in Charlotte, North Carolina, waiting for them to finish unloading the trailer for a load that we picked up yesterday in Richmond. Big rolls of paper. And while they're doing that, I figured I'd make a little update video and just touch base. It's been a while since we've put any videos on the Trucking Business Success channel. Had some internet difficulties, but now we have a Verizon hotspot that I keep in the truck and on at all times. So hopefully I'll be able to do some videos on a semi-regular basis and begin to put some stuff on the Trucking Business Success channel on a regular basis. And we'll also be doing some kind of vlog type videos, just a sort of daily routine on where I'm at, what I'm doing most days, maybe not every single day, but most days, and that'll be on the LD Sewell YouTube channel. So if you want to see just general stuff, loads I'm running, what's going on, that kind of stuff, you can check that channel out. If you're looking for more informational type things, tutorials and general information about trucking, specific information about trucking and certain aspects of it, then this will be a channel for that, Trucking Business Success. Also be sure to consider joining the Trucking Business Success Facebook group. I talk to a lot of people that get into trucking and have for many years, and I see the people that are successful, and I see the people who fail. And it doesn't take long to figure out which group most people are likely to wind up being in, depending upon how good of an understanding that they have of trucking and what they're getting themselves into. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, and that is, if you're thinking about getting into trucking in any capacity, as a company driver, a lease purchase driver, a leased owner-operator, independent owner-operator, or you're thinking about starting some other trucking business like a freight brokerage or a dispatch service or anything, or some people want to try to start out right out of the gate and start a fleet. Good luck with that if you have zero trucking experience, but some people do it. Every once in a while somebody actually pulls it off, which is amazing, but most don't. And the reason for that is the same reason that people fail in any aspect of trucking, and that is that they don't get information that they need before they just jump in. They get information from a recruiter, they get information from some single source, or they may not be correct. More often than not, it's not correct, or it's not all the information that they need, and they make misaligned decisions based on that, and they get into a business that's not well suited for them, or they get into trucking where they could have made it work and been very happy doing it, but because they didn't have the right information and weren't able to make the right decisions, they did not set themselves up for trucking business success. Instead, they almost guaranteed their failure right out of the gate by not knowing what they're getting into or what they should be doing next. So there's your first advice or information I can give you. If you're thinking about getting into trucking, get informed. Spend some time up front, learn some of the basics. You see the truck shaking around. Like they're unloading this paper, and these rolls are like 5,000 pounds a piece. So gather information and get informed, and make sure you have a very good understanding of what it is that you're about to get yourself involved in. And then do a self-assessment. You need to look at yourself, your family, or a significant other, whoever it is else that you have in your life, how this is going to affect them. And then you need to decide whether it's something that is good for you to continue to pursue and to get into or not. And then also, if it is, you're going to have to make a decision on what way you want to get into trucking. It's one of the things I've always loved about trucking is not a single thing. It's not a single opportunity. There's a lot of different business opportunities in trucking. And I use the term business all the time because that's one of the things I want you to understand right off the bat, up front. If you're going to get into trucking, and you want to be successful at it, you need to have a different mindset from the get-go. I don't care how you come into it, whether you come into it owning your own company with your own authority, or whether you come into it as a company driver for a mega carrier or a small fleet, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. You are very much in business for yourself the day that you start trucking. So you need to let that sink in and marinate for a while. You are in business if you get into trucking for yourself, regardless of whether you're technically an employee or not. And the reason for that is that trucking, particularly when we talk about any kind of driving position or thing of that nature, is something that pays you based on your productivity. And you have a huge amount of influence over that. Start with how well informed you are. And that will help determine whether you choose the right company for you or not. And they're not all equal. They're not all the same at all. Different companies treat you differently. Different opportunities available, different runs, different capabilities of making money, different types of equipment, different home time, all sorts of different variables. So you want to make sure you start out having the right information and making a good choice on what company to go to work with, and having a plan too. You know, what is your long-term plan? What do you do if you're eventually wanting to become an owner-operator? One of the things I suggest most people do is start as a company driver. Don't just go buy a truck. You don't just get into trucking and don't know anything about it. That's not likely to end well for you. If you just go out and buy a tractor and a trailer and go get your own independent authority and start trucking, you might survive. Some do. Some do. You ultimately, and I want to say this too, you are responsible for yourself. I'm going to give you my opinions. I'm going to give you my advice, what I think is a good thing to do. But ultimately, that's another thing I love about trucking. You know, the beautiful thing about it is, do you? You get to make your own decisions on what you choose to do. You get to choose your own course. In trucking, you get to choose your own course. In business, you get to choose your own course in life. And that's a motto on my site, ldsewell.com. Choose your own course and build a better life. That simply means that you're responsible for yourself. Pick what you want to do and do it well, and you can improve your life. So if you know, for example, you want to come into trucking and you're interested in becoming an independent owner-operator at some point, have that as a game plan. But come in first as a company driver with a different mindset, that you understand right off the bat you're in business even as a company driver for yourself, even while you're an employee. And approach it with a different mindset, and how you go about everything that you do, how you schedule your loads, how you communicate with your dispatchers, how you look at your runs and track everything, and learn the business at the same time you're developing your fundamental driving skills, as you're getting better at close maneuvering, backing, and things of that nature. And you're refining your trip planning, and you're keeping track of fuel and tires. Even though your company is paying for those things, you can do it. It's kind of like paper trading, like some people do with stocks, and that is track it as though you were actually having to pay for those things. The fuel, the tires, the maintenance, repairs, all of that stuff. Look up and see what the current freight rates are. And in the different tutorials and courses and things I have, I'll teach you how to do that if you don't already know. It's not that difficult. But you can figure out what the average freight is in the areas that you're interested in running, and the areas that you are actually running as a company driver, and you can guesstimate what that company is probably getting paid for the loads that you're hauling. And you can calculate out from that what you would be getting paid as an owner-operator versus what you are actually getting paid as a entry-level company driver. So you'll have a huge head start on all that at the time that you go out and actually purchase your truck and start driving as an owner-operator. And again, even that, you have different ways of going about doing it. You can lease purchase program a truck. You can get into a lease purchase program, buy a truck that way. I do not recommend most lease purchase programs because they're set up to rip off the truck driver, plain and simple. Almost all of them take severe advantage of the driver. There are a few that are decent, a few. But you really have to know what you're doing, how to ask the right questions, and read the contract carefully, and do some research before you just jump into it and sign off on it. I can tell you right off the bat that 99% of the ones that are trying to recruit inexperienced drivers right out of truck driving school and trying to push them into lease purchase programs, most of those are not set up for you to succeed. They're going to lead to you paying $1,000 or $1,100 per week for a truck for a relatively long period of time, and running your butt off, and the net money that you're going to make each week and each month is going to be less than you would have made if you were a company driver. So be careful of lease purchase programs. Again, not against all of them. The lease purchase program can be set up to be beneficial to the company and to the driver. My long-range goal for my company, Transport Resource Solutions, is to begin bringing on drivers, and I will bring them on as owner-operators leased onto the company, and starting out a couple of different ways. One way is that they go out and buy their own truck, or already have their own truck they can lease on, and then the other way is I will set them up where they can go through our lease purchase program, which will be one of the very few that I mentioned that is not set up to unfairly take advantage of the driver. It's set up to be a win-win situation long term. And then I guess you can add a third way to that, is that I will set things up where people can work. I'll have a lender at a bank that will finance the truck, or a finance company will finance the tractor, and help the folks coming aboard get set up with that, and then lease them on to our company and provide the trailer. The company will provide the trailer and other things that they need access to, as well as training and so forth, so that they can do their own thing as a leased owner operator. But you do need to, if you're going to go out and I'll tell you the same thing, even with our program, once it's set up, I don't want to rush anybody into anything. It's never a high pressure thing. Kick the tires, take it and look at it 9 ways of Sunday, take it to your lawyer, take it to your grandmother, whatever makes you happy, and only sign off on it when you're comfortable that is the right choice for you. So keep that in mind. Anybody that's trying to high pressure you and push you into something I tell you right out of the gate that's a big red flag and a big negative indicator that they're not setting a program up to help you, but they're setting a program up to help themselves at your expense. So be careful with all lease purchase programs. Information. Regardless of how you're going to start out in trucking, get information, get informed, and then do your own homework. Like I said, are you well suited to this? Can you be gone for long periods of time? Even if you're doing loads that you can turn in a day is 14, 15, 16 hours by the time you get done. Yes, hour services have a 14-hour limit. Hour service limits have a 14-hour limit. However, it doesn't limit your ability to work beyond 14 hours. It just limits your ability to drive after you hit the 14th hour. So, you might go out and push the stuff to almost to the limit, get back in and hit 14 hours, and then you're still doing, pre-trip or paperwork or other things by the time you finally get completely shut down and off. You might be at a significantly long day. So, and even if it's 12 to 14 hours, that's still a lot longer than most people work typical jobs. So be careful about that. Make sure you're able to put in those kind of hours, and you want to do that sort of thing, and that your family's able to do that. Keep in mind also, most people, when they start out in trucking, whether it's starting out as a company driver or whether it's starting out as any kind of an owner-operator, you're going to be doing overnight trips, at least some. So you're going to be gone frequently, sometimes 2-3 days at a time. And very often, at least an overnight trip back in, back out, another overnight trip. Repeat that process, and then for a week or so, and then you're off a couple of days, and then start all over again. Some companies push you a lot harder than that. Some of them will send you out, if you're a company driver, will send you out Sunday and Monday and try to keep you out for the entire week. In other states, you won't even be anywhere near your home. So are you able to do the time away from home? Are you able to put the long hours in? Are you willing to do that? Is your family willing to put up with it? You also, as a company driver, the initial pay for the first few weeks anyway is modest. Eventually it gets up to a decent amount. But, just make sure you get your information and you know what's going on before you just sign off on it. So get some information about trucking. Keep watching this channel. Check out the tutorials and the videos that we're going to have on here, and also check out our Facebook group, Trucking Business Success. Take care. Have a great day.